Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It's Saturday, January 5th, 2019. One of the top news stories this morning is the shooting that happened just before midnight in Torrance, California. Reportedly, there was a shooting in a bowling alley late January 4th, 2019. For years, I've told people, circle the dates on the calendar with the 44 numerology. You'll see that nearly every single time there's a shooting reported in the media. And January 4th, 2019 is the first date with 44 numerology of the year. And it's as simple as basic addition. 1 plus 4 plus 20 plus 19 is 44. Why does 44 matter in regards to shootings? Because the word shooting has a numerical value of 44. If you're new here, if you've never seen this work before, I've been doing it for 5 years. I'm on my 18th channel. Google doesn't like the truth. Even wrote a book about this code. The second longest chapter in my book, Letters and Numbers, is about shootings by the numbers. And guess what numbers talked about more than any other? Of course, 44. And that chapter is nearly 150 pages long. Covers decades of shootings and how the number 44 shows up again and again and again and again and again. And when they don't have these shootings on 44 dates, they always figure out a way to code 44 into the shooting. Like the recent synagogue shooting, where the shooter was given 44 charges. It's all propaganda by the numbers. It's all for agenda. It's about scaring Americans. It's about making them think they need Big Brother to protect them. It's about boosting gun sales. It's about creating more needless legislation and paperwork. Every time they have one of these shootings, it does boost gun and ammunition sales. The NRA, other gun organizations make big money, as well as the arms manufacturers themselves. So again, here we have this 44 date numerology. Shooting equals 44, gunfire 44. The entire story comes from the police. The word officer is also 44. The number 4 itself is associated with death. Shootings on the 4th. 44 is the rep digit of 4. The other thing I always talk about is the date of the shooting. The location will always be connected. The name will always be connected to the date. So for example, this shooting's at the Gable house. Gable house equals 41. What's the date? January 4th. Date that can be written 4/1. And what was the big news story yesterday before this? It was that the airstrike killed the terrorist from Al-Qaeda, right? And the story came on 4/1. Supposedly he was killed New Year's Day, a date with 41 numerology. Al-Qaeda, responsible for September 11th. September 11th, 2001 was a date with 41 numerology. Al-Qaeda equals 41. The man killed was responsible for the USS Cole bombing, 41. The bombing of the USS Cole was off the coast of Aden, Yemen, 41, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Every single day, all news is manufactured this way. And who's doing this? Well, the people who are in control of government and media and police, which is a fraternal organization, which is Freemasonry. And Freemasonry is based in Kabbalah, and Kabbalah has the belief that God created the world by merging the letter with the number with the word. So these people are playing God over the masses using government and media and abiding by this code. And it's just undeniable. I mean, the same thing goes on day after day, week after week. I've been proving it for literally 5 years straight, actually even longer than that now, every single day. And everything that I've talked about for the last 5 years, it just becomes more and more true with each passing week. And notice all these other people in the truth community, they don't talk about Gematria. They talk about all this nonsense, meaningless stuff, fall for all of the propaganda, talk about the mainstream narratives as if they're real, but they don't touch this. Maybe part of the reason why is because they don't want to get censored. Here I am on my 18th channel for exposing the truth. The rest of the supposed truth community won't touch this topic. Talking about nonsense all day. So here's another thing I want to point out. Do you remember on December 14th, We covered it December 14th. It was the anniversary of the Sandy Hook shooting. Another incident by the numbers. That day on the anniversary, there was a story about how the police stopped a person who was going to shoot up a middle school. And the officer who was telling the story to the media, his name was John Bowling. And I said, that's strange. Bowling, huh? That reminds me of Columbine, where Michael Moore made the movie Bowling for Columbine because the supposed shooters had gone bowling in the morning before shooting up the school. And then later that same day, after John Bowling tells us the story of the police stopping the shooter at the middle school, then we get the story of Columbine had to be evacuated for a bomb scare. A bomb scare. What are the odds? One national news story with John Bowling talking about a school shooting prevented, and the next thing you know, you have a bomb scare at Columbine on the anniversary of Sandy Hook. Anyway, if you are new here, there's 4 base ciphers you really want to know. The most pure is the dark blue one. That's where we started. We were talking with this dark blue cipher. So let me explain all 4 of these ciphers to you. Well, even before I explain them, just look at the overlap with bowling, 37, 107, shooting, 107, 37, gunfire, 37 as well. Gunfire and shooting have overlap in 3 of these 4 ciphers, but this is how they work. The dark green cipher on the left is the alphabetic order. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, E is 5, up to Z, the 26 letters, 26, just using the alphabetic order. The next cipher, the dark blue, considered the most pure, is the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. So A still 1, B still 2, C still 3, D still 4. Where it changes is when you get to J. J is the 10th letter. In the green cipher, J is 10. In the blue cipher, you take the numerology of 10. The numerology of 10 is 1 plus 0 is 1. You just make each letter a single digit number, and you do the same thing all the way up to Z. So in the blue cipher, when you get to Z, the 26th letter, you take the numerology of 26. 2 plus 6 is 8. You make each letter a single digit number. So those are our first 2 of our 4 base ciphers. And for years, these were the only 2 ciphers I used. But then once I realized that the reverse ciphers were just as important, so I incorporated them. So the reverse ciphers are just the alphabetic order in reverse, making Z1, counting back to A is 26. That's what this neon green cipher is, the alphabetic order in reverse. And then the last cipher is the alphabetic order in reverse with the rules of numerology. And just to come back to the story about the Yemen bomber for a moment, again, just in case you missed me cover this yesterday, notice Al-Qaeda's 41 with the alphabetic order. So is USA. Again, this guy was killed on a date with 41 numerology, supposedly. September 11th was a date with 41 numerology. The USS Cole attack was off the coast of Aden, Yemen, which equals 41. And years ago, this is what I would have caught. I would have caught Aden, Yemen, Al-Qaeda. But I would have never noticed that USS Cole was 41 until I learned the reverse cipher. And that's how, again, we were able to appreciate the reverse ciphers, because we just saw how often the reverse cipher connected with what we were already looking at, the very repetitive patterns. And over the years, I've done a lot of work on Al-Qaeda and 41. So it's not just this story. It's not just September 11th. It's not just the USS Cole. It's that when they report about Al-Qaeda, they always code the same numbers, because this is how all media propaganda is perpetrated, by a very repetitive code that is undeniable when you know it. Exactly why you get this news story about his death on January 4th, a date that can be written 4/1, like 41. Same thing here, Then you get the shooting at the Gable house on 4/1. If you just use these first 2 ciphers on the left and skip the reverse alphabetic order, you'll still see almost everything you need to see. We would have, years ago, we would have just been talking about, oh, what do you know, another shooting on a 44 date. And, the rest is just icing on the cake. But again, by knowing the reverse, you see even more. I always compare just using the forward cipher to seeing with just one eye. I mean, you can still see, but if you see with 2 eyes, you see a little bit more. So, in case you did miss the bomb scare story, bomb threats made at Columbine High School. I guess I take it back. This was the day before the anniversary of the Columbine shooting, but it was that same day in the news that that same day in the news that we got the story about the teenager who was stopped from shooting up the middle school, and the officer reporting was John Bowling. So that day, if you followed my podcast, I talked about this, and then later in the same day, the news about the Columbine scare. Again, I mean, the riddles on the surface are obvious if you're paying attention, but then when you learn Gematria, you just see the extra layers of the riddles and why the news is reported the day it is. And the other purpose of understanding this code is you can get ahead of it. It's just like I tell everybody, circle these dates, you'll see this stuff happen month after month. I can't tell you how many times I've said circle all the 44 dates on your calendar. So it just never ends. And for all you Los Angeles people who are watching, just so you know, another reason to learn this code is you can see how all of the world of sports is scripted. Let me show you what happened with your Los Angeles Lakers last night, playing in their 39th game against the Knicks in their 39th game. Did you notice the Knicks scored 39 points in the first quarter? For years, I've been educating how everything New York, especially the world of New York sports, is all 39. Look at this. Oh, we zoomed in too many times there. Is that big enough? The Knicks improved to 10-29. The Lakers fell to 21-18. For both teams, it was their 39th game. The Knicks scored 39 points in the first quarter. They got their 10th win on the 4th. If you add 1 through 4 together, it equals 10, right? 39 and 10 have a special relationship from the Bible. The Bible, the first 39 books are the Old Testament, where the 10 commandments come from. You write out 10 with the alphabetic order, it's 39. You write out the abbreviation for New York, NY, it's 39. The Knicks play in MSG 39. You write out New York. In our most pure cipher, it's 39. You write out New York, comma, NY, like an envelope, it's 39. If you write out NYC with the reverse alphabetic order, it's 39. The United Nations in New York, again, is 39 floors tall. They have their big annual meeting there in the 39th week of the year each year, clockwork. You know, you just had the New York city skylight lit up blue on the date with 39 numerology, December 27th, 12 plus 27, 39, and a million other things. Every New York Super Bowl one comes back to 39. It's just always the New York number. And again, who controls the world of entertainment? Well, guess who? It's the same Masonic network. And they do everything by this code. It's how Vegas gets their sports lines so tight. You know, it's how they know how to set the line. It's how they always screw over the bettors with the over-under. It's all planned accordingly. And it's all done by the numbers. There's no mistakes in the basketball score. And the supposed truth channel out there, Adam Green, who did an interview and then took down my interview with him because he said this work made his channel look kooky. Keep in mind, he has interviews of white supremacists who say the entire United States should be white. He still has that video up. I guess that was more important for his viewers, to know why the entire United States should be white. But he says it's so kooky to say that sports are scripted by this code when, you know, every single day we prove that they are, and we talk about the specific numbers that teams win by again and again. And it just happens again and again and again and again. So anyway, you notice the rest of the truth community, it's like they're really not into truth, or they're just not sharp enough to expose what's really going on in this world. And it seems that most of the supposed truth community is too caught up in the matrix. You know, like Adam Green, for example, he believes everything about these rigged sports leagues. He thinks there's no corruption. He thinks it's all legit. You know, it's like, why would the players participate in rigged games? It's like, dude, if you have to have that question answered for you, I mean, what do I have to come over there and feed you the baby sauce too? How much are these guys paid? Oh, more per game than most men make, you know, working a whole decade. Oh, that's right. You know, and they are. Break down what these guys' salaries are. I mean, why would they participate in rigged games? I mean, isn't it obvious? So, and realize Vegas takes home way more off all the addicted gamblers who get caught up in these rigged narratives every single night than what the players are getting paid. That's why they get paid what they get paid, to keep the secrets. So anyway, from the news to the sports, it's all scripted, all by the same code. We prove it day after day, year after year. Once you know the code, again, it's just so repetitive. So 44. Get out your pencil, look at your calendar, see when the next 44 dates coming up. Probably see another shooting that day. Just map them out for the whole year and then just put an X each time. Oh, look, another 44 date, another shooting. I'm telling you, it never fails. All right, Truth Seeker. Till next time.